Hey, what's up? This is Kevin from Kevin's BBQ Joints, and in this episode, I get a chance to talk to Ronnie Evans and Philip Moseley from Blue Oak BBQ in New Orleans, Louisiana. And I'm pronouncing that correctly, or as they say it's correctly. It's not Nylons and it's not New Orleans. I grew up calling it New Orleans, and it's because I used to go to Disneyland and there was New Orleans Square, which should be New Orleans Square, and that's how I'll call it from now on. It's where the Haunted Mansion is and stuff. But we get into their story, and their story is rad. It's really cool because they've known each other since grammar school, and that's a big thing, just to still be friends with someone, good friends with someone since grammar school, and then they have a business together and a thriving barbecue business, which is doing really well, and I've heard only amazing things. But we talk about the progression because it wasn't easy, and there's a lot of hard times, and they said there's some really tough years. They were doing pop-ups at two specific bars, one bar, and then they moved on to another one, and they talk about how that helped them hone their skills, so that when they did jump to a brick and mortar, they had that skill set and they can make proper decisions. But they opened right before Jazz Fest, and Jazz Fest brings hundreds of thousands of people to New Orleans, and so they went from serving 50 people a day to 500 people a day. So there's all that in the story. We talk all about their menu, all about their specials. They draw from local, but they also draw from creativity, and also they empower their chefs to create interesting specials and interesting dishes. I think it's very unique. The two guys are super cool, super nice, super down to earth, and honest about everything and all their business. And they talk about all the different changes that they've made due to COVID and how they've opened up something in their parking lot. So I'll let them get all into it, but I appreciate them so much for taking the time. This was recorded in September, so it's taken me a little long time. I've been editing, trying to keep up with things, but I've got a lot of life stuff going on, so I apologize to everyone. It's been about 3 weeks since I posted an interview, but I hope you do enjoy this one, and thank you for listening. And the Kevin's BBQ Joints podcast and YouTube show is brought to you by Centex Smokers. You can catch them online on Instagram at Centex_smokers. That's CENTEX_smokers. Start typing it, it'll pop up. Central Texas. They're from Luling, Texas. It's Michael Johnson Jr. He has been doing this too since he was a child. He's been welding and creating things. And now he makes amazing pits. And his lead time, a lot of guys, their lead time's a year, if not more. His lead time is 4 to 5 months. So give him a DM, get a price. He's done stuff for Mo Cason, Killen, the two for Ronnie Killen. He really knows what he's doing. I know he could do anything you want him to do. He's going to do some live fire stuff. Has a bunch of ideas for 2021. But check out his Instagram, follow him, and also give him a DM for a quote. That's Centex Smokers. And per usual, the Kevin's BBQ Joints podcast is brought to you by Treaty Oak Distilling. You can check them out at treatyoaksdistilling.com, or as I mentioned, at their physical location in Dripping Springs, where they have Alice's Restaurant, which is a barbecue spot, where you can try all the rye, all the bourbon, all the gin, bunch of mixed drinks that they created. They bottle these mixed drinks. There's a lot of new stuff coming up that I'll be talking about. Some really, really cool stuff. But check them out at treatyoakdistilling.com. And I have a website at kevinsbbqjoints.com. I'm creating these master lists right now. I'm doing a lot of stuff. I post everything, all the podcasts, all the YouTube stuff, a bunch of other stories. But I'm doing these massive lists of what knives barbecue spots use. I have over 160, over 170 places that I have talked to on what knives they use specifically. And then also I have a different one on what sharpeners and honing tools they use, which I thought that would be interesting, and it kind of coincides with the knives. Then lastly, what cutting boards and blocks they use. So that way it'll, at least you can find out, search this through, see your favorite barbecue spot and see what they use, and maybe it's something that you want to use. And if you're digging these, please subscribe. That way you don't miss out. Hit the bell notification. That way you know that I put up a new video. But at the end, stay safe, stay sane. Thank you so much for listening. Well, how are you guys doing today?
We're good. It's really dreary. It's been very dreary here the last couple days. We got this big storm that's kind of on the Texas, Louisiana coast. It's just been like misting for the last 3 or 4 days.
Really?
So it's kind of cooler, but it's kind of gross outside. So.
And the Saints lost last night, so we're all depressed.
I'm sorry about that. I know that's probably more important than anything, right?
Yeah, that was ugly, and the mood in the city changes based on what the Saints are doing. So losses don't permeate well in the city.
That's kind of like what in the 80s or the 90s actually for the Lakers. When the Lakers would lose, the whole city would just be this so somber, and I don't think in LA it doesn't matter anymore. Like there's too many options and too many things going on. But That's specific to you guys. That's so with these hurricanes that are coming through or tropical storms. There's a bunch, right? Like, are they? Has any of these this latest batch come that close to you guys? Is it more the outer bands or?
We've been feeling it, but nothing too crazy. We were under flash flood warning the last 2 days for I guess was a beta. We really haven't felt much besides like some windy mist. It's just ugly. It feels like Seattle over here or something.
I'm sorry. That's
But,
not good.
we've been fortunate though. I mean, we closed one day for that last storm, and just to prepare and be cautious, and didn't even
Sally,
right?
yeah.
And then we didn't. I mean, maybe a few leaves fell, and that was about it.
These storms are super unpredictable, and like every summer for us along the coast, like the Gulf Coast, it's like every week or so you're kind of watching these storms and everyone's paying attention, and it's kind of like it's like watching the news. Like it's just part of your life, like kind of watching these storms. And the last 10, 15 years it's gotten way busier. Like they're in the Greek alphabet because they ran out of
that's what I heard last night. That's so
they ran out of the alphabet, so they moved on to the Greek alphabet. So now we're on the beta, and I'm sure we'll get a few more letters.
That's just so great. Did you guys both grow up in, and is it pronounce it correctly? Is it New Orleans or New Orleans or?
It's New Orleans.
New Orleans, okay.
The mayor likes to say it differently. It's New Orleans.
New Orleans.
If you want to sound like you're from here, don't say Nolans or New Orleans. It's New Orleans.
New Orleans. I'll try my best. I'm sure I'll mispronounce it when I do the intro, so that'll be good. That'll make it. I'll actually try to listen to this part a number of times. But did you guys grow up in and around New Orleans?
Yeah, we did. We both did. We met in grammar school and been friends ever since.
What's the odds of that working out?
It's hard to say. I mean, we met. I got kicked out of my school, my elementary school, which is pretty rare feat and pretty challenging to do, you'd think. But I got kicked out of that school and then went over to where Phil was in school, and we met in like 6th grade. And we became friends like immediately. And, we always had this like dream that we'd like one day open a bar or a restaurant. And it kind of came to fruition like over 8 years ago.
Is it at all like what you guys had imagined as kids? Did you guys have anything special that you wanted because you guys were kids? Like, oh, I want to make sure to have a gumball machine in the corner for always.
I think honestly, that's a good question. One of the things I think we both knew early on was that we wanted red cream soda on the fountain. Barks red cream soda. And the day we got that, we celebrated.
That's cool.
And we've never wavered. Like it's always we like our favorite restaurants in town like always had it on fountain, and like we've never wavered and be like, how about we get like Dr. Pepper? And it's like, no, red cream soda stays. Like it's as important as like Coke or Sprite or whatever.
That's cool. So that's like a big nod to you guys being kids, and maybe that'll like keep you guys maybe kids at heart, maybe in a way.
Yeah.
But you guys started with it wasn't a bar. Was it a grits place or it was called Grits or something or was that
called Grits? And it was a super late night dive bar, been around for a long time, and guy just so happened to have a vacancy in this kitchen he just kind of built out, and it was probably like 2 weeks after we had bought our first smoker, and we didn't really know where we were gonna end up, but we did, I guess, 2 pop-ups. We did one at like a friend's house, cooked for maybe 20, 30 people. That was our very first gig, and then we got a gig at another bar down the street to do like their 5-year anniversary.
Huh.
So we did a barbecue thing there, and then luckily we asked Grits, and it worked out.
Were you a bar with a barbecue component or just the bar?
It was just food to support the bar. Like we were kind of an afterthought. It's like, oh wow, I'm drunk and it's 3 a.m. There's food here, so let's get some food. It was always like a late night bar. It was open 7 days a week, but only the real busy hours were Friday, Saturday, Sunday from like 12 a.m. to 5 a.m. And all the other time we would sell like a pork sandwich and a cheeseburger. And during those like 5 hours or so on the weekend, that's when we were really busy, and all of our friends would go there, so we'd be drinking and serving food at the same time.
Wait, what year was that?
That was 2012. I would easily say that was the toughest year of Blue Oak's career because we didn't make any money. We worked long hours, drank quite a bit, and it was grueling. It was really tough, and we learned a lot, and we had some, good comeuppance from it. But it was really challenging, and to sit here now and reflect on it is kind of.
Yeah, 8 years later, what do you think your biggest mistakes were? Drinking too much? Drinking at all? I don't know. I'm kidding.
I don't know. I mean, it's hard to say that. It's hard to remember, honestly, but I think we were always under the impression that we were just our focus was forward, and we were always just going to keep pushing, finding the next best thing. And we wrote it out for about a year. Those were, like Ronnie said, there's some dark days, and it kind of just one of those things we knew, like, all right, what's next? Like, we gotta step it up. We gotta move out of here and find the next venture, the next chapter in Blue Oak's book. But we were fortunate simultaneously, like right when we were wanting to get out, another kitchen opened up, which was our second stint at a music venue called Chiquiwawa.
I remember seeing something about that.
Yeah, and then that was much more of what we were looking for at the time. We were able to build like a clientele there and actually do some normal hour cooking as opposed to like late night cheese fries and stuff like that. So it was certainly a good stepping stone to the next phase.
Was that your own place, or were you again kind of working out of another kitchen?
It's like the same thing. It was like a music club that they needed space, they needed food to sell, and we were available. We were trying to move on. So it was, it was another thing where we were just kind of like supplementing the bar that was already existing.
Where did you get your pit, or did you have it built by somebody?
Gulf Shores, Alabama, or just outside of Gulf Shores, Alabama, which is about 3 hours from here. We bought like this kind of reverse flow barrel smoker from some like guy we found on Craigslist. And
always Craigslist.
Yeah, right. we went down there, bought the pit, came back, and started getting to it.
And then do you guys just learn how to learn by burning a bunch of stuff, or by just kind of trial and error? Or do you guys travel places to try barbecue?
First started, we kind of got our feet wet and learned some of the basics at another barbecue joint in Colorado. Pork grits. And then, we both lived in Vail for a while.
That's nice.
But that's kind of the beautiful thing about our first and second stints at Grits and then Chiquiwawa, which we didn't really realize until later on, that it was kind of the perfect, we couldn't have figured a better way to really hone in our skill and like practice, and without really having to worry about a real brick and mortar at the time.
True.
It was kind of like, I don't know, it was like training wheels on steroids kind of. We were able to do so much and really, practice on people and really get one-on-one feedback, and constantly, our goal was always to be better than the day before. So
that definitely helps, like not having that stress on your shoulders, that specific type of stress.
Yeah, and we were able to run it just us two for a very long time. So, we didn't have to worry about paying other people. We were just both still living at home.
With our parents. We were still living with our parents.
Making it work. Maybe that's another reason why it was not the best.
A lot of our success can definitely be attributed to our parents, like, housing us for the first 4 or 5 years.
What were they thinking? Were they thinking you guys are crazy, or we want to do whatever you guys can do to make it work?
They were supportive. I mean, the whole time, I would come home, and I'm sure Phil probably had the same experience, but I'd complain to my dad or my mom and be like, we were there for 12 hours and we sold like $90 in food. And it's terrible. And my dad and my mom would just be like, just keep going and, keep at it and whatever, just supportive. They weren't trying to make it worse. They're just trying to support you so you can, just keep trying to get at it. So they were supportive. I mean, my dad was an entrepreneur. My grandfather was an entrepreneur. So I think they just understand that beginning is super hard, and you just gotta stay with it and get, just work hard, and hopefully it'll pan out.
Yeah. And as long as you're doing it with, using your heart and your passion, like it's something, you're not just phoning it in, then it's going to work. It should work, or you have more potential for it to work. So when did you get the transition? Because I was reading online a couple of weeks ago. Did you guys move locations? Have you moved locations since you became Blue Oak?
We were Blue Oak at Grits. And then
so you were Blue Oak at Grits. Okay.
Yeah, we were just we always had our eyes open looking for a place, and there were times we found something that was really cool, and we were about to bite on it or something, and it went wrong. And in hindsight, it was like the perfect thing, like kind of what I was touching on before. If we jumped in too early, we probably wouldn't be here today.
How did you find the place?
One of our customers was a realtor.
That's cool.
And he called Ronnie one day, and we FaceTimed him, and he was walking around the property, and we were both like, holy shit, that place is awesome. That's going to work. And I think we felt it, and we never looked back after that.
Wow. Yeah, and it's funny because quick story, the guy who owned the building, we approached him about leasing, and he was like, we've tried barbecue, like it wouldn't work here. Could just kind of wave this off. And then he sold it, and the guy that bought it was like, yeah, we'll do barbecue, like let's do it. So it really worked out. Like there's all these things, and like it's like this weird how the universe works. Like all these things kind of played a role in how we got to where we are today talking to you. Like just the landlord and like the comeuppance of like Grits and Chikiwawa and us meeting in elementary school. Like it's just all this crazy thing. When
you look back at stuff like that, it's kind of hard to put your head around to think like all these things had to actually happen to come where you're sitting right now talking to some guy in California about your restaurant. Now, did you get a chance to really build out the restaurant the way you wanted to?
For the most part, we were still on a budget. The beauty about Chikiwawa and living at home, we were able to save as much as we could. But still, to backtrack a little bit, we got the lease in March of 16, and Jazz Fest is typically the last weekend of April, first weekend of May.
Mm-hmm.
And
That's huge.
We were walking distance, and we had the goal, we're like, we have to open by Jazz Fest. So we flipped this Italian Mediterranean kind of, you don't know what it was, restaurant into a barbecue place in about less than 6 weeks, maybe. And
that's crazy. That's pretty crazy.
Yeah. So like there's stories like the floor guys messed up, but the window was like 2 days from opening, and it needs an entire day and a half to cure. So we had to get it restripped, and to this day we've never redone the floor because of that. We've been open every day since.
So for 4 years you've had the floor not exactly the way you want it.
Yeah, I mean it was a really tight window, and it's like still shocking to think about 6 weeks being able to go from one restaurant to a completely different concept in that short period of time was like kind of amazing.
But Jazz Fest brings in tens of thousands of people.
It's like hundreds.
Or hundreds, like Well, I know people. I have relatives that go or that used to go almost every year, and it's not just jazz for people who there's all types of music, but it's centered around jazz. But like anyone from like I know like Dave Matthews to like other jam bands to other like there's a huge mix of people. Well, was it overwhelming then when the crowds came in? Were you ready for that?
No, we were not ready at all. I mean, we went from serving like on busy days we'd serve 50 people to 500 people, and that's not even an exaggeration.
No, I could imagine.
Like the flip of a switch, and it was like holy cow! Like we were trying to be open all day. We had to like take a break in between the day, like lunch and dinner, and like there was just no stop. Like once we opened, it was like a line out the door until we closed or sold out, and it was like the first 6 months was just a whirlwind of like business and trying to figure out things and adapt. And like we didn't have a dishwasher, we needed dishwashers, we needed more people, we needed more equipment and smokers, and like we just like the first 6 months was just crazy trying to adapt and figure out how to feed this many people in such a short period of time.
Yeah, that must have been insane. But also too must have been a nice validation that you actually like people are coming and eating our food and we can make this work. You needed 4 of you guys, that's all.
Yeah, it hit us like a ton of bricks. We were here we were lighting fires at 7 a.m. and we didn't get home till like midnight every day for like a year.
You put your head down and wake up and it's like you're back again. Like
yeah, good. And we had a ton of people that helped us pull it off. We couldn't do it without a lot of our employees that some are still with us.
Well, that's cool.
Some were with us for 4 years, even at Chikiwawa, and there's a lot of moving parts that helped us get us here, and there's so many
Yeah.
stepping stones along the way that we couldn't do without.
What were you serving at the beginning?
You know, we were serving pretty much the menu's fairly similar to where it is now. Like you got brisket, sausage, chicken quarters. We do like smoked wings, that, and then we had like a bunch of sides. We did barbecue beans, which are just smoked beans. We did roasted garlic mac and cheese, ginger sesame slaw, chili glazed Brussels sprouts, which is like when you ask someone about Blue Oak, usually they don't talk about like the brisket that took 15 hours. They talk about the Brussels sprouts that were thrown in the fryer for 30 seconds. So that, and then like some other apps and stuff, and it's kind of developed quite a bit since then, but you know, most of the same stuff we've been serving the whole time.
What kind of, the cooker that you have, you said you added a smoker?
Yeah, since day one, we've got probably 6 now.
You have 6?
You know, one of them's the barrel that we started with. The other one's like a whole hog cooker. And then we have 3 big ones that are here on site, working every day.
Which, like, are they offsets?
We have 2 Southern Prides and an Old Hickory.
Wow.
They're not as sexy, but they get the job done.
No, I know. And I worked at a place in Los Angeles that we had an old hickory. And if you treat it the proper way, then you can get really good food out of it. Amazing. It's not, I know there's that stigma that it's a set and go, but it's not. You have to pay attention. You have to know what the hell you're doing.
We have guys, we've made a lot of friends with the barbecue community over the years. You know, like we're really close to like Fegis and Home Team and
Evan
and Hoodoo Brown and you know, Leroy and Lewis, like everybody, like we made so many friends over the years, and they all come through and they love the food. So that kind of validates like that we're doing something right.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, they wouldn't. What's the climate like there? Are you guys at 25% capacity or even 50? Or
man, honestly, I don't even know if we know anymore.
Like it changes so often.
Some sort of like 25 to 50% indoor, and then I think outdoor is like 50%. Or no, 100. But all the tables got to be 6 feet apart. So really, we had to take away some tables, but we adapted and took over the parking lot, put a big tent over it, and added what, 80 seats over there.
Well, that's smart. How was that? Do you guys have pretty cold winters?
Nah, and they don't last too long either. We'll get cold days. I mean, you know, it's real humid down here, so sometimes it can really sting, but I mean, it doesn't last long.
So you guys will be set for winter. Like if this thing persists and there's the spacing and all that stuff, like that outdoor area will help out a lot.
Yeah. We might want to. I was thinking about the other day putting some walls up around them. They have those like, you know, plastic sheets. But yeah, as long as they'll let us put up the parking, we'll keep it rolling.
Yeah, we're a lot luckier than like some of our friends to the northeast and in other climates that are going to have like really brutal winters. Like the whole outdoor dining thing is going to go away. So it's a whole different scenario for them.
I've thought a lot about that, and I thought that it would be nice if somebody was stepping in from like maybe even the local government to help all these restaurants with coming up with plans to build stuff and then eventually store it, and if maybe for the next pandemic, but at least something to help, because they're going to need the help, and restaurants are working on margins that aren't great, that they can just build things all the time. And
yeah, I mean, a lot of those places in like New York, I mean, they have 10 tables inside.
Yeah,
they're at half capacity. You know, you're with no outside. It's unfortunate for them.
Did you guys have online ordering prior to the pandemic?
We didn't have any online ordering. It was just like order by phone or come in, because like we had a hard enough time taking phone orders. Like the first 3 or 4 years we were operating, like we didn't start taking phone orders for the first 3 years.
Wow.
4 years. And then once the pandemic happened, we use this POS system, Toast.
Yeah.
And they had all these systems in place to kind of facilitate this whole transition. So you could order online, and then they introduced like delivery, kind of like white box delivery that you could get straight through our website. So we added all those things like very quickly after the pandemic. So the pandemic was brutal, but we were able to like salvage business and keep people hired and keep the boat going forward.
That is really nice. Yeah, I noticed that you guys had Toast, and I was thinking, like, as I was looking at your website this morning, I was thinking I should reach out to somebody maybe from Toast, because still people are having trouble with like, I think it would be just to, like, as a public service thing, just to say, hey, these are the things we offer, just a quick little 5-minute interview just to help people out, because Toast seems like it's a pretty simple concept, right? It's pretty easy to use?
I think Toast is it's the bell cow of like the POS systems
Okay.
in the market. It's about as good as it gets, and they're always making things better and improving, and like the things that they did during the pandemic, and they waived a lot of fees and
That's
just
cool.
bring in a Toast ad, but it was they were awesome.
And you could do gift cards with them too, right?
Yep, you can.
Do you
Digital and hard cards.
So you guys have that, right?
Yep.
Okay, because I want to make sure I put links to all that. Is there? And I noticed too that because I was actually shopping your sauces. You have a lot of sauces.
Yeah, we got quite a few. I mean, we have 3 like staple barbecue ones that we keep on the table.
Okay.
A house, a jerk, and a spicy Carolina, kind of vinegar based. The jerk one's kind of like a Caribbean style, and house is kind of I guess a middle of the road, kind of like not too sweet, not too spicy or anything. Kind of goes well with everything. And then we have maybe 4 or 5 wing sauces, a ranch,
Oh, okay, that's what they are.
Brussels sprout sauce, the chili glaze you can order too.
I saw that. So was that like the merch and the sauces and the gift cards? Are those things that you want? Like, you're not begging for people, but those things help, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, like during pandemic time, like we were just promoting like, hey, we have this shirt, these shirts or these sauces, and we were getting a ton of orders. Like our office would be filled with boxes, like ready to get shipped out, like all over the country, like California and the Northeast. Nice. And then we had a couple in Canada. Like it was just like kind of cool. Crazy, the outpour of like support. People were just trying to help, in like any way and maybe get a little something in return. So it was nice.
Yeah, no, I think too, we don't know if there's going to be like a little second wave that'll hit. So I'll make sure that I have all those resources for people, because I think, you want to make sure that, you stay around, you stick around. It seems like, I think you'll be better suited for something if it happens in a couple months. Again, just a little blip. You're open 7 days a week, right?
Yeah, we just started 7 days a week on Labor Day. So we were closed Mondays, and now we're rolling 7 days. I think the transition's been pretty good. Labor Day was certainly an expensive day, and it just so happens a lot of those holidays land on Mondays, so we were missing out on a lot of barbecue days.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Memorial Day, Labor Day. I think we had 4th of July.
Don't they celebrate President's Day on a Monday?
Yeah, you're right.
I think I never really think about it, but it's probably it's important. But is that tough for you? Do you guys stagger your own shifts? Are you guys both there all the time?
We're kind of just here all the time, in and out all the time. We've got a great crew and a lot of great managers, so we've given them a lot of kind of power to kind of do things on their own, which has worked out really well. But I mean, Ronnie and I are pretty vigilant we're kind of sticklers about a lot of things.
Yeah, no, I can imagine.
We always got our eyes open.
We don't spend nearly as much time in the kitchen as we used to, like barely any at all. But we kind of empower like our chefs and cooks to kind of promote specials and create specials, because we're very like special heavy. It's how we kind of keep people interested in the culinary scene that New Orleans is, and so we're always trying to like innovate and come up with new ideas, and it's been good.
Yeah, your Instagram feed is full of really cool new stuff all the time.
Yeah, that's kind of how that's like, we probably don't post enough barbecue pictures, and we do like, because the specials are always coming. We have some like every day, like different ones every day, and sides and whatever. So that kind of fills up all the content. Yeah, we're very special heavy.
No, well, that's good. Then that's all. And as things go with traveling, people will be coming back from, having specials is cool for travelers and people that are like tourists. How far, like say you flew into, where do you fly into for New Orleans? What's the airport called?
It's MSY.
MSY.
So it's a different parish. It's like 20-minute drive maybe.
Okay.
Give or take some traffic, which is the opposite end of downtown also. We're closer to downtown. So if you were staying in the French Quarter or something, you could actually take the streetcar straight to our front doorstep.
How long would that take you?
Probably like
20 minutes, 30 minutes, yeah.
But it would be a cool journey, right?
Yeah, it's awesome.
Sure.
I mean, if anyone's visiting New Orleans for the first time, I would tell them like to hop on a streetcar and just like go, because like it's usually when people are visiting, it's nice outside, and the streetcar, like if you go on St. Charles, you see all the beautiful the oak trees. And then if you're downtown, you can take the streetcar all the way down Canal, which is like a nice run. And you can just kind of explore and do it in a kind of unique way.
Do you guys live close to the restaurant?
Pretty close. It's like 10 minutes.
Yeah, we're right down the street.
Everything in New Orleans is pretty close, but we love to complain that it takes a long time to get places. But in the grand scheme of things, we're nothing compared to like, going to Houston or something, or probably maybe even where around you guys are. It takes like an hour.
Yeah, to get somewhere that's 20 miles away could take 2 hours. So that's not.
That's crazy.
But it's weird though. Since the pandemic, driving around, it's like driving around the 80s or it's like late 70s, 80s or not. Like it's
really?
it's starting. The traffic's coming back, so people are starting. But there was times where you could get somewhere, like say it was 20 miles away, you can get there in 23 minutes. Like it was, or 50. It was pretty amazing. It felt good. Like this is what a real city should be like.
Yeah, I'm not jealous of the traffic at all.
No, don't be. No.
Yeah.
So do you guys mix things from like local ingredient, like things that are from the area into your specials? Is that something you guys do too?
We do a little bit. We'll do like, we added crackling to the menu maybe a year and a half ago, which is kind of like a southern thing in Louisiana, Cajun country. We do, red beans on Mondays is a very traditional New Orleans thing. We'll throw in gumbo, and we got an okra dish now that's really fantastic. And there's a big Vietnamese presence here too. We'll do like brisket pho when it gets cold.
Oh, that's cool.
We like to keep it fun.
Yeah, we like try to introduce a little seasonality too. Like, in the summer we ran a lot of tomato specials because our tomatoes in Louisiana are pretty awesome. We incorporate some like fresh strawberries sometimes, and we try to use like local ingredients as much as possible. There's a really cool farm here called Home Place Pastures, where it's all like, kind of open range cows and like also cows and pigs and all sorts of different chicken, lamb, stuff like that. So we'll try to introduce some stuff like that on the weekends, and that's a really cool thing. But
yeah, no, that's a really cool thing. Like if you came later in the day, can you get a full menu, or do you sell out of the brisket pretty quick? Like, are there things that sell out quicker?
No, we try not to. That's kind of where we, Central Texas barbecue to us was the gold standard, and I know they're pretty used to cooking as much as they can, and they're out by maybe 1-2 p.m. But we kind of always wanted to do a hybrid of that, and so we figured out a way to be able to stay open through dinner with just about everything. So if we do run out, we're not happy about it.
So you stagger your cooks and kind of make things work.
We're cooking ribs like 3-4 times a day. It just depends on the day.
Sometimes 5 times a day. Yeah. And like New Orleans, like they don't understand the concept of running out of food. If you run out of food, they think you're underprepared, and it's like
you don't know how to run your business.
Yeah, they don't understand that, like, these ribs take 5 hours. Like it's not like we can just throw some ribs on the grill and they're ready. Like they take time, and once you're out, there's nothing you can do about it. So, and we want everything to be fresh every day. So we're not gonna like serve you reheat crap from the day before. Like we're just gonna run out and start fresh.
So you just figured it out. You figured out a method that works and like you kind of know what days are the crazier days.
Yeah, we try to set pars, and some days are crazier than others, and it's never perfect. We run out of ribs probably more than anything, and it's just waves. Brisket we've gotten pretty tight on. It's always tough.
We keep track. We have logs to where we're looking at the year before, and we'll even get down to like checking the weather. Like, all right,
that's smart.
Brisket's like on that this time last year, but was it raining or was it good weather?
You can create like an almanac, a barbecue, like an almanac for New Orleans. Are you? Wait, so then can you order by the pound, or is it just plates and sandwiches?
We do plates special. We do plates, sandwiches by the pound. I'd say like our most popular item is like a 2-meat plate, which is obviously 2 proteins, and then you get 2 sides, get some white bread, pickles, onions, and then like we have an all meats, all sides kind of platter, which is like a big tray for like 2 or 3 people.
Nice.
Which has like almost all of our offerings on it, pretty much. We do that, but 2-meat plate is like the bell cow of what we do.
That works for a lot of people. I think that it covers all the bases, and it just makes it simple for people and makes it not so. Did you guys have trouble at any time getting to go containers? Was that right in the beginning of the pandemic?
I think we did. Yeah, we started just buying a bunch, and I remember like the gloves was an issue too.
Oh yeah.
We used a lot of gloves, and I think we had to pre-order like a pallet once or twice, and just have them hold
Of gloves.
Yeah. And just have them hold it in their warehouse, and we would just pick from it whatever we needed.
It's so weird. Someone was mentioning to me like, remember the cruise ships when people were stuck on? I'm like, God, that feels like so long ago.
Yeah.
And that was just this year.
We were in Australia like a week before the lockdown happened.
You guys were?
Yeah, we were there for we were supposed to be participating in meat stock.
Oh yeah.
So we got flown out there, and we were supposed to participate, and it was, can't remember the date exactly, but it was like we had gotten there earlier in the week, and then that Saturday was meat stock. And I think on Thursday, Trump banned travel to Europe. Okay. And we were like eating ramen in a ramen shop, and that happened. We're like, oh shit, we got to get out of here.
And the restaurant started calling, like the wives started calling. He had a small child, and my wife was pregnant.
Oh no, because there was a chance that you weren't going to be able to come back, right?
Yeah, we were freaking out.
And then we had just found out that we were on a walk along the beach or something, and we were talking to this guy, and long story short, we found out that Tom Hanks was at this restaurant the night before we ate there, and he just tested positive. So we started like freaking out, and we thought we were never going to get home. We were on the phone with the airline for like 8 hours.
Not even exaggeration, 8 hours.
Scary.
And we never got a hold of them. We never got them on the phone after 8 hours.
So did you guys commandeer your own plane?
We just showed up at like 5:30 in the morning, and we actually, it was the easiest thing we did. I wish we would have taken advantage of the day before, but we were in the hotel for half the day, like worried,
stressing out.
We wasted our last day in Australia in a hotel room trying to get Qantas Airlines on the phone. And they charged us for a change fee too, which is thanks Qantas.
Yeah, that's always
great. Yeah, there was like no one on these flights, and they charged us like $300 a ticket to change our flights home because of this damn pandemic.
What airline was that?
What's that? Yeah, Qantas Airlines. If you're in a pandemic, you might not want to fly with them.
We can't fly back to Australia now. Yeah, I think they're still.
Don't want us there.
Yeah, you can't go to Australia until 2021, anyways. That's really weird. I know, because I remember like Daniel Vaughn was stuck in Peru, I think, and there's like but I haven't talked to because it's just there's so many things that have happened since you guys were stuck that it's hard to like compartmentalize all the different things. But like the cruise ships, people were trapped on cruise ships, people were stranded in different countries. I know they're like the military was getting people out.
I think that's what jogged our memory when you said cruise ships, because we were staying in Sydney for 2 nights, and there was like 6 cruise ships just docked just anchored in the bay right there, and
locked up.
Yeah, there was one with like yellow tape all over it, like don't come on the ship.
So crazy.
It was a little nerve-wracking.
Yeah. Because at that time too, you didn't know like if you were at like a restaurant, the Tom Hanks was the next day, or you didn't know if you can get it. We didn't know.
Yeah, we had no idea like how like contagious it was, and like if you got it from there or whatever. And when we decided to book the flight back and get out of there, Wayne Miller was heading in to be the other like American barbecue joint to represent the U.S. at Meat Stock, and he had just gotten on the flight when all this started happening.
We were texting, and he's like, we're like, oh man, weather's great. We can't wait till you get here. We're gonna have an awesome weekend. And then like 2 hours later, I think he had just taken off, and we were getting, the NBA or March Madness was canceled.
Then
an hour later, it was like European travel ban, and then 2 hours later, it was like the NBA, that game that somebody tested positive in the locker room or something.
Yeah.
And then we're like, oh no, we started calling, and his phone was going straight to voicemail, and It
So
was
did he land and then have to fly right back?
like he got here and turned right around.
Oh.
Yeah.
But he literally like did not enjoy Australia like at all. We actually had a couple days to enjoy it and it was awesome, but Wayne got like the super short end of the stick, and then Jay Beaumont, who put on the event, like he took a huge loss on the whole thing.
Oh,
like, this thing was 2 days away. He rented equipment, proteins, like the whole nine. Like he just lost his ass on it.
Terrible.
We hope he's doing all right, but it was a really shitty thing for everybody, obviously.
That is just that's insane. I have a friend now that works with Wayne. I should text him and have him just recount it with him, because that'd be so interesting to know what he thought. Because too, like, I guess you fly and you have news sometimes on a plane, like you can kind of see what's happening, but it's like almost like 9/11. They just grounded all the planes right then. So that's like, you guys were part of, like, you're part of the story now, at least within your world. You were within, because for me it was just, I was watching it all on TV, to seeing the mayhem and just worrying about my small little world. You were stuck potentially in Australia. What if you got stuck for like a month or something? Oh, that would have been just.
That's what we were worried about that.
Yeah,
for sure.
No one, like, I don't think anybody would have paid for your hotel. You would have just been.
Yeah, they would have kicked us out probably too.
Yeah. Then you live on the streets of Australia. This would have been a much different interview.
Yeah.
Well, let's to wrap this up. What are all the best ways to get hold of you guys, and what are your hours again?
7 days a week, 11 to 9.
Okay.
Best way is probably either direct message on Instagram, or you can email probably info@blueoakbbq.com or catering@blueoakbbq.com.
The website is blueoakbbq.com, and you can order online.
We're on Twitter. We're on Instagram. Usually if you send a message on Instagram, you're talking to me. Phil's also on there sometimes. We also have happy hour 5 days a week, Monday through Friday.
Cool.
3 to 6. And come by and see us.
Yeah, definitely. No, I've wanted to talk to you guys obviously for a long time, but I've people, when people ask, because there's not 1,000 options like there are in other places for barbecue in New Orleans, and I've always pointed people towards you, just from knowing you guys and hearing great stuff from other people. I mean, I'm excited to actually really visit. There's, hopefully the fog will lift eventually and we can travel again. But I would love to hang out with you guys and see your plays. And
come by, and if you do, we can help set you up somewhere.
Cool.
If you need, we'll give you a list of restaurants, all that. You can come by for like Hogs for the Cause.
Yeah, are you guys? But you guys are doing some festival coming up, right? Or some kind of event coming up?
We're doing a charity event that's actually affiliated with Hogs for the Cause. It's called Hog Stars, something or another.
Something like that, yeah.
We're getting together with a bunch of other guys that participate in Hogs for the Cause, and we're curating a plate with a bunch of different people's dishes for like a drive-through, and all proceeds will go for Hogs for the Cause, which is a charity organization that benefits pediatric brain cancer outreach.
Gotcha. Oh wow.
Which is a pretty small benefit. Like, it's pretty micro benefit, but it's like helps out tremendously with all families that deal with this stuff, and they do a great job.
That's great. Is Hogs for the Cause, is that Tank? Is that his thing, or is that?
He comes down, yeah.
He came last time, maybe.
I always see him. He shows up at places. I always.
Yeah.
He stands out.
He's a wild guy.
He's funny.
Yeah, we've messaged. I've wanted to talk to him for a while. We've messaged back and forth. He's funny.
Fox Brothers, they come down here. Aaron from Home Team comes down.
Oh, cool.
Usually the Peg Leg crew will come.
Well, 2 years ago we had
and
Feegis Barbecue. Aaron and Patrick came down. We had Jordan Jackson from Bodacious. Cody and Chris from Hoodoo Brown. We had Anthony from Swig and Swine come. We had Galen Iverstein from Iverstein Farms in Baton Rouge. It was like the super team that we got together 2 years ago, and that was a lot of fun. I don't know.
Well, hopefully you could do that again in a year or so. That would be nice.
Yeah.
That will be, and that's what's sad too about this whole thing, is that people can't get together, because like those connections are great. You love those people. That's what makes this whole barbecue world fun.
Yeah, for sure.
Man. Well, thank you guys for sitting down and taking time. because you do work every day, it's you guys are opening pretty soon, right?
Yeah, we're
Yeah.
open in 30 minutes.
38 minutes or so, 37. Well, have a great day. Thanks so much.
For
All right,
sure.
Thanks,
take
Kevin.
take it easy. All right,
All
bye.
right, bye-bye.
See you, man.